Whenever people ask me for non-thermoform paddle recommendations, two of the brands I almost always refer them to are Spartus and Ronbus. These paddles perform just as well, if not better, than existing Gen 1 raw carbon fiber paddles, like the Diadem Warrior Edge, Carbon 1, or the Yola Vision, and they cost significantly less. Both Spartus and Ronbus have Toray T700 carbon fiber paddles that are priced at $100 after a discount code. Now, I've talked about Ronbus before in previous videos, but just to recap, for their non-thermoform paddles, they have three different shapes. The R1, which is shaped like the Hyperion with the arrow curve at the top, the R2, which has the shorter handle and a circular face, and the R3, which is your traditional elongated shape. Spartus, on the other hand, currently only has one shape. Their Gladius paddles are only elongated, but what they do have is two different thickness options. It can be chosen at 16mm or 13mm, while all the Ronbus paddles I mentioned earlier are all 16mm. Generally, what I've told people when deciding between the two is this: if you want different shape options, look into Ronbus, and if you want different core thickness options, look into Spartus. Earlier this month, I was able to get my hands on the Spartus Gladius as well as the Ronbus R1.16, so I could do more of a head-to-head comparison between the two. Now, I know that comparing the R3.16 would have been a better comparison, but I wasn't able to get one for the video. However, even between the R1 and the Gladius, I felt it was still worth doing the comparison to test differences between the paddle faces and how the different face shapes affected the paddle. Side by side, both paddles have a 5.5-inch handle and the same 16.5-inch total length. One thing to note is that both of the handles I have are on the thicker side, and the Spartus handle sticks out a bit here, while the Ronbus is more flat. The Spartus handle didn't bother me personally since I have bigger hands, but it does make the handle seem a bit bulkier, so that's something worth noting if you have smaller hands. Though there's always an option to manually remove and replace the grip too if it does become an issue. Moving on to how they played, the different shapes definitely affected the paddles. While both paddles had the same amount of reach, the curve at the top of the R1 made the paddle quicker to swing, while with the traditional elongated shape of the Gladius, I was able to generate more power on drives. For how the paddle faces felt when hitting the ball, there honestly really wasn't much of a difference. The Gladius was a bit stiffer and had a bit more pop and power to it, while the Ronbus had a plusher feel. During my play sessions between the two, I had to really search for the differences between them and felt like I could switch between the two pretty easily. The touch and control for both of them was nice, and it was easy to dial in on drops. As for the spin and sweet spot, both felt similar to me. The spin on both was very nice. I don't think they had as much spin as the new thermoform paddles, but they were still on the higher end. The sweet spot was fine for both, but neither paddle had injected edge foam in the perimeter, so they were less forgiving compared to what I was used to. Off-center shots didn't carry much power, and I had to be more precise when hitting. Also, both paddles didn't have the power of thermoform paddles I was used to, so it was quite an adjustment at first during the transition. To help out with this, I ended up adding the same lead tape setup to all the paddles, and had them weighed up to 8.5 ounces. After about a week, I actually really enjoyed my time with all these paddles, and felt that I would have no issue bringing either to a tournament. I also ended up getting a 13mm Gladius to see how it would play versus the 16mm. This one is lighter to swing than both the R1 and the 16mm Gladius, and it has a thinner grip. The thinner core did make the sweet spot a bit less forgiving, but only slightly, and it also made the paddle face feel stiffer. Because the paddle was lighter and thinner, drives with the 13mm didn't feel as powerful and substantial compared to the 16mm paddles. Even though adding some lead tape helped increase the power, I just couldn't feel the ball as well during the drives, and still preferred hitting ground strokes with the 16mm paddle. However, the thinner core also makes the ball dwell on the paddle face less and pop off quicker. This felt especially nice when dinking and doing hands battles at the net compared to the 16mm. I could see myself using this paddle in doubles more than singles because of this. At $100, I feel like these paddles are a steal and perform better than other Gen 1 raw carbon fiber paddles I've tried, like the SLK Halo or the Warrior Edge. I have no problem recommending either one. If you're interested in trying out either Ronbus or Spartus, I've linked my discount code here and in the video description that will bring your total cost at checkout to $100 for these paddles.
You ever go to
The best. The absolute. Randy, give me some.